yeah, I should win just because you had the Timberwolves in the 8th seed.
Vasilevsky's been playing really well, and the Lightning have a great offense.
Yeah, it was a tremendous shot, and I've come to expect it from LeBron. I would say I wish the best for the Red Sox, but as a Yankees fan, that's really hard for me to do.
The biggest addition to me is Jalen Brunson.
Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, and that's all I have to say. He's still a top 5 quarterback in this league, and there's nothing really anyone can do about it.
Why'd you have to name him? Like, seriously? Like, thanks, man.
Who would have thought 5 years ago that the Clippers and Nets would be facing in the finals?
How is Joe Burrow going to get the ball to them if his butt is already on the ground?
Crazy. And for the fans at home,
Hello, I'm Cy Mendenhall, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NFL Opinions of the Week. I am Kevin, and I'm joined by the man that I am a little bit surprised about all the moves that happened today, and the man that you will know how he thought in just a few seconds, Austin.
Yeah, so this was a very active trade deadline. The trade deadline was something that I didn't think too many moves or significant moves were going to be made, but there was a good bit of moves that I was like, that could work out, or that's interesting. And I don't know necessarily who won it, but what trade do you want to start talking about first?
I guess we can just get the one out of the way. The Jonathan Mingo trade to the Cowboys. They gave up a 4th-round pick, which is a lot given Mingo's status with the Panthers and his performance as well.
Do you think this may be a little bit a part of the fact that CD is hurt?
Yeah, I do think I thought CD would be put on IR after this move, just given like his injury, and it would rest him up and it would give them chances to be worse and then get a higher pick. They also do need wide receiver help, so I'm sure Mingo fits in. He'll be better than the wide receivers before or on the roster after CD. I am curious to see who's better, Tolbert or Mingo right now. Then it's Flournoy Brooks. So they needed help at wide receiver, but to me, it's the 4th-round pick just seems like a lot compared to the other wide receivers, such as DeAndre Hopkins was a conditional 5th-round pick.
Well, the thing about D-Hop is that he's a significantly older player. Mingo was drafted 2 years ago. He was drafted in 2023. So I kind of understand why he's a little bit more pricey, but I do agree with you that it's probably a little bit too much. But again, D-Hop's not going to be in the league for too much longer, right? He's getting older in age, and Mingo, if everything works out, he still has the potential to be a starting caliber wide receiver. But yeah, I do think they overpaid a little bit.
Yeah, and to me, the Cowboys aren't a team that does well at taking a player from another team that the player didn't want and making that player better. To me, that's just not what this front office is good at, but we'll have to see. So I'm sure he'll get a lot of playing time this season and definitely forward on. But yeah, that one was more questionable. I am curious why the Packers decided to trade Preston Smith.
Yeah, Preston Smith was struggling a little bit, but I am a Preston Smith enjoyer. I do believe was solid. The problem is he only has 2.5 sacks on the season. He played well against Detroit, even though he didn't get a sack. I think it was more of a fit thing, and the Steelers have been dealing with some injuries on their D-line, so it makes sense why they wanted to add someone new.
Yeah, and the Steelers also go in the wide receiver market getting Mike Williams, who's a guy that has dealt with injuries, but that is some big wide receivers with Pickens and now Mike Williams if he remains healthy.
I definitely think that's the bigger of the two trades, even though Preston Smith is good. I think this is the bigger one. Mike Williams desperately struggled with the Jets and with Aaron Rodgers, but I do think he could turn around now that he's with the Steelers.
Yeah, and then I would say I don't think this is the biggest, but this is another move is Za'Darius Smith getting traded to the Lions.
This is, in my opinion, the biggest because the Lions didn't really have that much pass rushing after Aiden Hutchinson got hurt. And Za'Darius Smith is legit. Even if he has had not the greatest season of his career this year, Za'Darius Smith is a player that's played in a lot of big games. He is kind of an elder statesman. This year in 9 games, he has 5 sacks, which is good. It's better than last year. It's on pace with. It's a little bit behind actually the pace he was on with the 2022 Minnesota Vikings, which is funny because now he's played for the Vikings, the Packers, and now the Lions. All he needs is the Bears to complete the NFC North quartet.
Yeah, so you said this one's the biggest?
Just because the injury to Aiden Hutchinson and the fact that I think that he's really good, and the Lions need more edge rushing. If they get that, they're a powerhouse.
Yeah, I agree. They definitely needed pass rushing, and they get that with Zadarius Smith. I want to say Marshawn Lattimore to the Washington is the biggest move.
What I'm concerned about Lattimore is his injuries. Lattimore's missed games already this season with injuries. He is young, so he's 28, so yeah, he will have time to get better, but he has missed multiple games this season. I believe he's missed 2 games this year. Last year, he only played 10 games. The year before that, he only played 7 games. So in the last 2 full seasons before this year, he played an entire season worth of games with 17 over the last 2 seasons. This year, he's missed 2 games already. I'm worried about his injuries. Zadarius Smith, I'm not really as concerned injury-wise, even though he is older. Zadarius Smith is someone that just seems more healthy, in my opinion, except for the 1 year in Green Bay where he only played 1 game. If we ignore that 1 season, he's played 16 or more games every year except for that year. So he's just one year he got really hurt. I think he tore his ACL, missed basically every game that season. But if you ignore that 1 year, he's played 16 or more every season since that. Marshawn, it's not been the case.
Yeah, you do bring up a thing with health. I think if he's healthy, this really changes. It doesn't really change. It just makes that defense so much more dangerous. And we've seen what Dan Quinn can do with a corner, with a star corner. You could argue Lattimore is better than Diggs from guarding perspective, as Diggs is more of a will go for the pick. I do think he's a good standout corner, but this does add another dimension that to me they were missing in the secondary.
I can see that. I'm just worried injury-wise. There's a very strong chance that Zadarius Smith, knock on wood, plays every game the rest of the season or very close to it. Maybe he misses a couple. But Marshawn's been a guy over the past couple of seasons that you don't know when his season's going to end. Whether it's going to be he makes it to the end of the season, whatever that is, playoffs-wise, or if he misses a significant amount of games going forward. So, yes, he's probably the better player of the two, but Zadarius is more – I think a bigger need because you don't even – there was basically no one that played D-end on either side of the ball, or either side, either left or right D-end, because of Aiden Hutchinson being hurt. And now you're adding that. And 2, he's the more healthy of the 2 players. Yes, Marshawn's the better one. If Marshawn stays healthy, but that's a big if. So I do like this move by Washington. I think it does improve their team, but it improves it more if he does stay healthy, which is a much bigger unknown with him than it is with Zadarius Smith.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. To me, those are the biggest trades. Just because you brought up the Lions, I would argue they are already a powerhouse, but it is securing some things for playoff time because you'll need pass rushing.
Well, you have to have pass rushing, and that's something they've really lacked since Aiden Hutchinson got hurt. If you're not going to get pressure on the quarterback, it makes it really hard for your secondary to be very good.
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, they get Zadarius Smith, and a lot of big names traded. There were trades before, but like Cam Robinson to the Vikings, that's good on capitalizing on opportunity and a need with the injury to Darisaw, even though that was before the trade deadline.
Yeah, but that's still a good move to make.
Mm-hmm. And then I was surprised the Ravens got Tre'Davious White, but to me that just seems like depth.
Yeah, Tre'Davious White's really, really struggled this year.
Mm-hmm.
It does seem like depth, but that's not necessarily a bad thing to get, especially when you expect your team to make it far in the playoffs.
Yeah, and that to me, I guess there was the Bengals get Khalil Herbert with Zach Moss injured, so we'll just have to see how that goes for their running back room.
Yeah, Zach Moss hurt his neck. He has a neck injury. Khalil Herbert, I mean, he hasn't played all that much at all this season, so That's more, again, a depth add than anything. Chase Brown's going to be the guy. This season, Khalil Herbert doesn't have a touchdown, but he has 8 carries all year. So, yeah, more of a depth add.
Yeah, so we'll have to see how these players play and how they perform for the playoffs when you think about Washington and Detroit specifically. And that is all I got. I'll let you take this one out.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. Please let us know which trade you thought was bigger. What did you think that the Marshawn Lattimore one was bigger, or Zadarius Smith? And please catch you in our next video.